What is happening, all of you lovely guitar playing people? Thank you for stopping by, as always. And of course, we got another weekly practice session for you. This is designed to help you get out of that kind of stuck plateau phase that so many of us guitar players face from time to time. And it's really just exercises designed to get you better in a very applicable way to a variety of playing styles. So stick around for the whole thing. We've got 4 exercises today that are extremely beneficial to all guitar players. We've got an exercise focused on speed, an exercise focused on, mapping out the neck, another exercise for some lead guitar. In fact, we have 2 exercises for lead guitar. So the last 2 are kind of, solo lead exercises, skills for, that context. And they're different skills. So slides and pull-offs on one of them. And then some hammer-ons, some bends, kind of a bluesy lick that incorporates a decent amount of skills on the 4th exercise. So some good stuff inside of today. As always, if you do find it helpful, like and subscribe. That is helpful for me and gives me the confidence I need to keep putting these out there in the world. I'm oftentimes very long-winded. I am going to try to remedy that today or refine that and to be very concise. And that's the deal. Each one of these optimally is about, or in my opinion, the optimal duration is about 5 minutes. That's why it's a 20-minute session, 4 exercises, 5 minutes apiece. If you're short on time, you can pull these back a little bit. So, 3 minutes, you can pull it back to 3 minutes, maybe 2 minutes and 30 seconds if you just want a 10-minute, piece before you get into all the other songs and solos you want to learn. But I think 5 minutes is optimal. So up to you. I just wanted to say that before we jump in. So the first exercise is focused around speed, but this is, of course, the first time we're touching our instrument. So, be conscious of where you're at from day to day, session to session. If you're newer to exercises like this, you want to play clean first before you really start focusing on playing faster and faster. All right. So basically we have 3 positions and we'll go through each position 3 times. So here we go. Here's position 1. So I went through that 3 times. This is all based on the G major scale. There's position 1. Then we're going to move up. There's position 2. Final position. Then we just restart. Boom, 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 over and over and over. Something, that allows you to push a little bit, but keeps you controlled. And again, playing clean, everything's ringing out in a clear manner. If this was my session, I would have my metronome on, clack, 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 making sure that it's something that I can go through. You don't need to play with the heavy hand. In fact, if you're trying to get faster, it needs to be loose. It needs to be relaxed. All right. So barely, you shouldn't be able to, scream the amp into your ear. You actually want it to be very soft. Right? It's not going to explode out of the amp. Play soft. Those are things you can control with the actual dials on the amp, dial on your instrument, pedals, yada, yada, yada. Get used to being a little soft and having some finesse. All right. But there's exercise 1. Something I forgot to mention at the beginning is that there's a downloadable PDF of all of the exercises I'm about to go over in the description. All right. So there's a link. You can download the PDF with all the exercises in the description. And you don't need to come back to this video every time you want to practice. So that's a big thing. I want to make everything accessible, but you don't have to come and sit through this whole video. Download it, and you'll be able to hit all these exercises for the entire week. All right. So there's exercise 1. Again, I'm trying to keep it brief, but there it is. Exercise 2 is based around triads. Triads are a great way to map out the neck. So in this example, we have, a G major triad, we have a C triad, C major, we have an A minor triad, and then a D major triad, right? So G major, C major, A minor, D major, just to repeat in case I botched any of that. G major, C major, A minor, D major. So think about that as like a chord progression. Right, so now you have a bunch of shapes of major triads and minor triads. And now what this helps you do, because we're going to move this around the neck, just to reiterate the importance of triads, if I have G here, right, this is all in the key of G major, and I have G here, and I have G here, I had this little bit of a map inside of the G major scale. Right, so I could use those shapes to help me kind of get some anchor points. And I won't hammer that too much. I'll focus on the exercise and the drill, but just keep that in mind, that a lot of these shapes are really, really helpful for mapping out the neck. That's why I said it was an exercise to help you map out the neck. And you can use these shapes to, transpose your favorite song into, a different texture, basically. So, Stand By Me is, if you're going to play the big bulky chords, G, E minor, we can even move it up here if we want to use all those chords, C, D, but you can play it right? You can play it in different positions and ultimately get some different textures. So anyways, you can take some of your favorite songs that have major minor chords and play through it that way. So again, we're going to go. Then we're going to move it up. All right, so we're going to be up here. Same progression, just in a different place. And hopefully, the goal is that you're going to recognize if this is G, well then this is C. If this is G, this is C. You're taking these really simple shapes. That's the beauty of the guitar. It's like one of the gifts of guitars. You can just move these shapes around. All right, so you can easily move this to the key of C, the key of D, but it might take you a second to sound it out. But recognize that a lot of the same shapes come up. So we're playing D down here in our first progression, our first kind of section, and we're playing G up here. It's the same shape, all right? So second kind of section. Again, metronome, very important here. I feel like I'm a little off, a little funky, but if this was my practice session and not a video I'm making, absolutely, metronome is on, making sure I'm sticking to a good, clean rhythm. All right, final section, we're moving up here. And there's your third section, and then restart. Notice that when we finish on the D, right, we're then starting the G with that same shape, right? So just something to think about, to consider. It's a nice way to slide around. Right, so when you're, coming up with your own stuff, maybe you want to play a song differently, you're covering a song, you can move those things around, so instead of playing, G like this, you might go. And then if you wanted to do A minor. Right, you can kind of play around with some just interesting textures. That's the word of the day today, I guess. All right, but there's exercise 2. Like I said, it's all linked in a PDF. I don't want to beat you over the head and go over it too much since you will have the tabs. Check out the tabs, sound it out, be smart, be cool, be you. And let's move on to exercise 3. So exercise 3 is a lick, and it's focused on slides and pull-offs. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'll just play through the lick first, and then let's come back, discuss it maybe very briefly, and then you go play it on your own. But make sure you hear it out first, and before you kind of work through it, so that you really have a feel for how it's supposed to sound. So there's the exercise, there's the lick. All right, 2 pull-offs to start. Getting into that slide. 2 more pull-offs, getting into a slide. This is all based on an A minor or C major pentatonic, right? Relative major minors. That might be the funkiest part for people, sliding up and then just jumping back down. So sliding from 7 to 9 on the G string. As you lift up, right, notice that it mutes the string, right? So if I was gonna try to play this and my finger's just resting on it, you can't make the noise, all right? You can't let the string ring out unless I press. So as I slide up, it'll automatically, or as I lift up after the slide, it'll mute, all right? So all you're doing is sliding up, and then just move your index finger to the 5th fret. Same thing, metronome. Make sure it sounds clear. You know, a few portions of that lick just now going through it, I might want to play those a little cleaner. All right, so again, that's why we have the 5 minutes. Start with no metronome if you need to, just to make sure things are clean, right? And that can be for all of us. 5 to 10 reps, no metronome. Okay, it feels good, bring in the metronome. And then throughout the week, you can increase based on how you're feeling, or inside of, you know, the actual individual session. Minute 1, no metronome. Minute 2, something really easy. Minute 3, beef it up, and then those last 2 minutes really focused, perfect, you know, metronome to keep you honest, but also, you know, push you a little bit. All right, so there's exercise 3, the slides and the pull-offs. Now, exercise 4, I'm just gonna adjust my piece of paper with my foot, is a Stevie Ray Vaughan style Texas Flood. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Texas Flood style lick. In that song, he has this bend, and he does this, you know, in a lot of his songs, but for me, it feels most famous to Texas Flood. You can hear it in other live performances on other songs. So we've got this huge bend on the high E. And then once we get to the apex, we're trying to make this quick switch to the middle finger. And that's just, you know, a phrase inside of the lick. But that's really the most important part, is that big bend with the ring finger. And we're supporting, always supporting with our other fingers. So ring is being supported by middle and index. And then middle is being supported by index. All right, and excuse the guitar faces. I always feel like I'm like, you know, mouth ajar as I try to focus in on these things. So there's the lick in its entirety. Slow it down. All right, you can actually go in the settings and slow it down if you need to hear it even slower, you know, 70%, 75%, something like that. Just focus on it one note at a time. Break it into phrases. Once you have that, try to make things as clean as possible. Sometimes there's a little bit of that dirtiness, you know, where you can hear a little bit of an extra note, or I should say a little bit of like another string, kind of like a little additional noise being made. Again, if you're playing this, you know, over a backing track, you know, so this would be in the key of A, or an A blues, like a dominant blues would be the preferred backing. If you just look up A blues, or I'll even link one, right here that you can play this over, and you can kind of refine this over an A backing track. Obviously, Stevie Ray is playing in the key of G on Texas Blood. It has things tuned down half a step, so technically F sharp, but we're just moving it up to A, a little easier to bend, bigger bends higher up on the neck. So that's why we're moving it there. But yeah, you'll want this over an A backing track if you're going to do that. Metronome, of course, super, super helpful. And that's really it. I feel like I was going to get into a whole big spiel, but that's the lick, that's the deal, that's the session. So like and subscribe if you found it helpful. And I will see you all on the next one. Download that freaking PDF in the description and hang on to this for the rest of your freaking life. All right, peace.